look so fire. This is crazy. Yeah. Ooh.
Hey, yo.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Wait. So we going with that starter question?
I mean, sure. I mean, this was the starter question right here, though.
We need to start a podcast, though.
No, but it was already rolling, so...
Oh, damn. Okay.
So quite an unusual intro to the podcast, but that was the starter question there. Apparently Ben likes 8. He had to figure it out what 1 divided by 8 is. But I'm going to hand it off to Adriek. Let's see how he starts off the podcast this time. Get a little bit of a new energy. You know what I mean?
Man, y'all already know the vibes, though, with me. Welcome back to another episode of the F.L.O.E Podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Adriek, and this is Shem right here. And we got a very interesting topic for discussion today. We're really about to get into it. We really might dive deep down into the midst of everything that we went through over the summer. We went through a lot over the summer. But I ain't gonna really say too much right now because I'm gonna introduce our guest on the podcast. So now we have
Matea, hi. Nice to see you all.
Benjamin, what's up, y'all? What's up?
Now, I know y'all just said y'all names, but tell the viewers about yourselves a little bit.
Okay, I'm a sophomore. I'm majoring in kinesiology and minoring in business, hopefully. My goal in life is to make healthcare accessible and affordable, so I'm trying to study to do that.
I'm Benjamin. I'm a sociology major here with a concentration in globalization on the pre-law track. But for future, I'm looking towards being a professor, perhaps. But here at the college, also, I work at the Center for Student Diversity, so you can always catch me there. Please go there. Sadler West Wing expansion. Remember to sign in. And I'm a government researcher here at the university, and I like to research disparities in the criminal justice system. So,
I don't think everybody, you said come to where again?
the Center for Student Diversity.
I don't think everybody can go to that.
What you mean?
Because we have a global,
I'm just talking about William and Mary students only. But if everyone else want to come, make a little trip to Williamsburg, they can come, right?
nobody wants to come to
They can,
Williamsburg.
they can come.
What they come to Williamsburg for?
Exactly.
They come for the CSD. Yeah.
They'll come just for that, then leave.
The governor's palace. We the second oldest college in the United States. Yeah.
Some pride.
Yeah, exactly.
Some pride.
Some tribe pride, y'all.
Some pride.
Oh, y'all like this school.
They paid for me.
Good tribe.
Hey, women, I'm just playing. If President Roy, if you watching this, I'm just joking about, not liking women married. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Okay, but what happened that first episode that we shot, though?
what we talking about?
We talked about everything. Remember what we talked about with Chitty?
No, what we say though?
Everything about the school.
I mean,
Thoughts
those are
on
my
that, though?
real feelings. These are my now feelings. You know what I'm saying?
No one saw that.
Exactly. Everybody see that?
No one saw that.
All right, but I mean, get back to sort of like the topic. I mean, actually, should we go ahead with the starter question? Do you think you guys comfortable already? What do you want to do?
You want to start a
I'm
question?
good.
You
Yeah, I'm good. Okay.
I'm good.
Y'all already know, man. Like I always say, we always ask this question just to make sure y'all comfortable, just to get y'all juices flowing.
Yeah.
We trying to make sure y'all prepared for the topic of discussion for the day. So the question of the day is, go ahead, Shem. Go ahead, let them know what it is.
All right, so a good friend of ours yesterday hit someone with this question. Okay, it was a very interesting question. He'll know who he is if he's watching this video right
If he's
now.
watching it, he'll know exactly who it
But
is.
so the question goes like this. So both of you are stuck on a stranded island, all right? And what would be the 3 top things that you guys could talk endlessly about on that stranded island?
That's a good question. Holy shit. Talk endlessly about.
Talk endlessly about.
And while they're thinking that, shout out to Keon. Go watch his episode, link in description. Great episode.
Down below.
We're going to have an episode 2 with him soon enough, so be on the lookout for that.
Oh, you know what I could talk endlessly about? I could talk. Y'all know. I don't know if y'all know what Death Bow. Y'all watched Death Bow when y'all were kids.
Nah, what that is? What that is?
It's pretty much like it was on like Screw Attack, like that old YouTube jump. It was just 2 guys, right? And we just pitted against like fictional characters against each other. You know what Death Bow?
No, but I'm so intrigued.
It got like millions of views back in the day.
Anybody never heard of that? See, back what year was this?
It was like around. It's from like 2010 to like 2015. It was really like big.
I wasn't really that big on like. I feel like early 2010 I wasn't that big on YouTube like that. I really just started watching YouTube like I say about my junior year of high school for like
high school?
I started getting into it. That's when I stopped watching TV.
I started getting into like middle school, like 7th grade. I was on YouTube like every night.
I'm still not on YouTube.
You gotta get into it though. You know what's on YouTube, right?
Hey yo, this is a shameless plug. The plug.
No, but it's a show on YouTube. Death Bow. They just put two fictional characters up against each other. No morals, no nothing.
Oh.
And they had a fight to the death, and they got to see like who won in the end.
Yeah.
Who was the strongest? Yeah.
Okay, I heard it completely wrong. I heard Death Bow, not Death Battle.
No, Death.
Yo, okay. But no, have you seen the one with Predator and not Mando, but what was the other guy? Boba Fett?
Oh, see,
It's not.
this
I
how
know
you
there's
know
Boba
they can
Fett
talk
one
all
from
day.
the-
We don't know nothing about this.
It's not a newer one.
I think so.
I haven't seen any from 2019 onward because I've been so busy. But like,
Amazing, man.
yeah,
I
but
swear to that.
pretty much just take that premise of the show, put it on an island. I'll talk, like just say to me like who would win in a fight, Spider-Man or Batman. I could talk about that for hours.
Who would win?
Spider-Man.
Wow.
Batman.
Yeah. What?
Okay.
No.
This is the rules. Listen, you can talk about this for hours because if Batman has prep time, if they keep got an hour to prepare for Spider-Man, Batman would win. But if it was like nobody had prep time, you had to just fight with what you knew, Spider-Man probably would.
Okay, but then if you think about it, Batman doesn't need that prep time because if they're just coming out from wherever they are, he's already prepped.
I feel like you do because Spider-Man could just punch you when you just die. He could just punch Batman, he die instantly.
But Spider-Man, how though?
It's no morals. It's just like because if you took like the morals of Superman versus Batman, Superman wouldn't kill Batman because that's not how he is.
Right.
So if we just took the pure power sets of both characters, don't care about their morals, ethics, values, and just put them in a fight to the death, most likely Spider-Man would win.
Okay, so here's my logic though. Okay, Batman, full-fledged adult. He's been training for years in Mortal Kombat, and you have Spider-Man, a teenager from the Bronx.
Okay.
I
In
don't
a
know
spandex
nothing
suit.
they talking about right now. I'ma just sit here and chill and just pay attention and watch, cause I ain't never seen the episode of this. Nor do I really want to, but no offense to all the people who like this, like what you talking about. But me personally, I just ain't gonna watch it. But like I say, I don't know nothing that they talking about, so I'm just sit back and relax.
Who they are? You've watched Dark Knight, right?
I mean, I know who Batman and Spider-Man is,
Yeah.
You know,
but I ain't never seen that. That's all I'm saying.
What do you
but I
think?
feel like you can still talk about it. I mean, honestly, like I agree with you. I thought it's Spider-Man at first because he actually has like an actual power, and I thought there was no prep time. But at the same time, he does come prepped, and he does have all that training from over the years. So I think, yeah, it would be Batman.
What is this? Okay.
No, I agree.
But Spider-Man though, he doesn't really have powers. It's also web slingers. Which version of the Spider-Man are you talking about? You got to clarify that too.
Oh, this is the crazy one because that's about they do a weird thing. They collate like a bunch of the versions of the character into one.
That's right,
It's
that's
kind of
right.
weird, but generally Spider-Man, you could say he could like punch through a brick wall or like lift and probably throw a car or like.
Okay, but couldn't Batman do that too?
Batman cannot lift a car. Can he pick up a car over his head and throw it?
I mean, but I've never seen Spider-Man do that.
He's done it. He can do it though.
How you know?
Yo, you watch Homecoming?
Nah.
Oh,
But did he do that though, or was it his suit that did that?
that's it. No, that's the real question because Tony Stark gave him all that shit.
That's still
Exactly.
his though. That can still be
No, but that's not him. Like you're talking about him. Like that's.
Damn, okay, what about if it's just choosing Tobey Maguire Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, right? You know the scene when he was holding the train back?
Yeah.
He like did that, and like the
Okay,
right?
but that's
Okay, Tom
that's
Holland did the same thing.
with the little cruise boat.
Like,
What was it?
Was that him or was that technology? From Tobey
Oh, for
Maguire?
Tobey Maguire, that's like just a cloth suit. It was just a normal suit.
Oh, okay. Then
Yeah. And he stopped the train going like
Could he
1,000.
kill in moral combat? Like you said, without any morals.
Yeah, he would just punch Batman. His insides would just explode. That's it.
Batman's a darker motherfucker. I don't know.
I agree with that.
What you think?
Huh?
What you
What I think about what?
who would win?
Come against it what?
Who would win the fight?
I don't know, and I don't really care neither.
That's
You see people smile, we have a fun, good conversation.
And I'm just him.
All right, how about this? Who's your favorite superhero?
You can say
Hulk.
like Black Panther.
That's what I was thinking
So
too.
Hulk.
Damn.
All right, Hulk against who though?
Hulk against probably like Superman or Goku or something. But I don't even know if you know Goku.
I know of him. I don't know. Like, I wasn't big on none of that for real.
Okay, let's say Superman then. Hulk v Superman. You gotta know Superman.
Huh?
Hulk versus Superman. In the fight.
You asking who would win?
Yeah.
You asking me?
Yeah.
If that's my favorite, I'd never go against my favorite.
That's not how it works though.
You got to think about the logic behind it though. Like Hulk's powers compared to Superman's powers, who's winning?
I
Superman.
think Superman can fly, no? He can just
I mean,
blow
but
up.
Hulk can also like super jump. That's technically fine.
Yeah,
when
but
you
like,
think about it.
he could literally, Superman can just throw up in the sky, bring him up, dispose of him, and you're done.
It's true.
Just chuck him into the sun. He's dead.
That's so true.
Basically. So you think your guy can handle that?
I mean, yeah.
I'm saying like a sports team though. It's like a fight. Like if you Black Panther's my favorite superhero. If you put Black Panther versus Thor, even though I love Black Panther.
When did he become your favorite superhero?
Black Panther?
Yeah.
The movie. Static Shock was it before. I knew Black superhero is my favorite superhero for real. But yeah. Ask me.
Who's your favorite superhero?
Black Panther.
Actually?
No, I mean, no, he is one of them. But honestly, I'd say Tony Stark. Okay. Yeah.
Who's your favorite superhero?
Doctor Strange.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I ain't even never watched that.
Yeah, that's
You
good.
didn't?
The past movie was really bad, but I love him.
Wait, which one?
The past movie, I didn't think it was that good. Multiverse of Madness. I wasn't into it.
I think it was alright.
I don't know. I think after Endgame.
Once again, I don't know nothing about what they got going on right now. I'm just going to sit here and just listen, you know what I'm saying? Y'all want to talk about sports or anything like that, like, you know, basketball, football? I mean, I'm down for whatever, but, you know, none of this, I'm just going to sit here and chill. I don't really care about it.
Both of you okay? All chill?
Adriek, you good?
You done?
Y'all good? I'm
I'm
good.
just doing a little whisper over it. I'm just checking.
We just had the entire podcast right here, and you were over here whispering about what?
Yeah.
Oh, I was talking to the viewers. While y'all talking and socializing right here, I'm talking to them. I got to interact with them because they support us.
Hey, please put down in the comments.
Yeah.
They the
Don't
reason.
mind them. Who is your favorite superhero? Drop down in the comments. Alright, drop it in comments, please.
And give a logical explanation.
Give a lot why they're the backstory behind them being your favorite, please.
Exactly. Who they would win against in Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, exactly,
Like,
exactly.
it's
To the
heated.
death. Who would win?
All right, how about we do this then? Viewers out there, put your favorite superhero in the comments. We're gonna have them back. They're gonna vote on if their favorite superhero could beat yours. Whoever wins, we'll give y'all a free shirt. How about that? We're getting merch soon, so be ready for that.
Merch coming soon. Y'all know, man. Stay tuned to it.
Y'all finna do my research. Y'all got me
No,
excited.
same,
Okay.
same.
We got a shirt too, right?
Yeah,
I thought you already had your answer though.
To what?
yeah. What's
For your favorite superhero.
Let's clarify this right now, just so it's
Okay. I would say, when I thought about it, I do love Black Panther, but just based off my childhood and because of like how it still holds up today, Static Shock. Because you know the Static Shock show from like 2003, 2004?
the static.
Static Shock.
When you start watching that?
When I was like probably like 4th grade, 5th grade. And it just tackled like a bunch of societal issues. Now, sociology major, you know I'm into that.
So you was into sociology early, huh?
Without even realizing it.
That's what's up.
Yeah, so.
All right.
Your favorite superhero.
Favorite superhero.
Oh yeah, Doctor Strange. I think like when I was younger it was like Batman or Superman, but that was because like I always used to watch that with my dad. But like for me like personally like someone like I really think kind of fits into my whole thing. And, yeah.
All right. Well, we got these superheroes laid out. Drop it in the comments. See who wins this free T-shirt. All right. So going back to the topic of this episode, from what I heard, and I was about to apply to this too, camp launch. summer of 2022.
Ooh.
There you go.
Wow. Whoa.
Yeah.
Any more ad libs? No.
I ain't gonna lie.
It
All I'm
was
gonna
a
say is
It was a summer.
Camp Launch was something.
Yeah.
Camp Launch stressed me out. Camp Launch made me sick.
Camp
Camp
Launch
Lo-
made you sick.
Yeah,
Made you sick.
made me sick.
With what?
Huh?
With what?
As soon as I got home, I was sick for like 2 weeks.
With what? What?
I don't know what I had. All I knew was I was sick.
You never told me that.
I was taking a break from everybody.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Camp Launch stressed me out so much, I was ready to deactivate all my social medias and all.
Again.
Again.
Yeah, that was the time.
I was sick though. We were sick.
Yeah, we were sick.
Legit, like diagnosed.
Like, actually.
Yeah.
All right, but before we actually get into like the downs of Camp Launch, let's talk about the positives of Camp Launch. Like, what's something
Or
good like that came?
Before we get to that though, talk a little bit about Camp Launch. What is it? Tell the viewers what it is.
You're right.
okay. So
I can if you want. I didn't know.
all right. So basically, Camp Launch, it was a very good idea for a camp. It's an underprivileged camp that I think has been at the university for 5-6 years, and it basically
They
serves
said
under
2012, right?
2012. Really?
Yeah.
Well, Jessica
Oh, like a
was there.
decade.
For-
Oh, you right.
Jessica
Yeah.
said 2012.
Okay, so it's like
Shout out to
a
Jessica too,
That was
man.
Jessica.
Jessica.
Shout out to her too, man.
counselor for life. All right, but what's it called? It
Enjoy
was a camp that served underprivileged kids in kind of like the area, so like in Hampton, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, around there, and they pretty much all came here for a 2-week camp based on STEM and writing, and it was pretty much enrichment and also a social camp for everyone to learn, have practical experiences with science, future careers,
Yeah.
and kind of learn that like they could, even though they come from like these kind of like not the best backgrounds, they can still be like something great in life. And the camp basically wanted to impart that on them, and also of course introduce them to a lot of other bright, gifted students in the area.
Yeah.
So 2-week camp, stay away. Yeah, that's pretty much the basis of the camp, I would say.
Yep. No phones, no electronics.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that was a big thing.
yeah.
That was a big thing.
No phones.
No phones.
Like, you couldn't, like, it's not like you couldn't have them during class, like, you didn't bring them in general.
Yeah.
So,
Just what? When they just brought their clothes themselves.
They bought clothes, snacks themselves,
soap, I guess.
money if they needed it. Some brought quarters, but
Some didn't bring nothing.
yeah,
Yeah.
no.
But
some only brought one pair of socks. But it's all good though.
Yeah,
yeah.
that was it all.
Sure. But if like they didn't have the stuff we provided for them
Yeah,
at some point,
Yeah.
even though it wasn't our jobs. Yeah.
Get to that later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it sounded like it's like a lot of bad that we keep bringing up about Camp Life, but it
Yeah.
was some good parts of Camp Life. I ain't gonna lie,
Yeah.
it really was.
Yeah.
Like the money, yeah, that was real good. You know what I'm saying? The money was real good. I love it, even though it didn't come on time, but it was real good. But yeah, like as I was about to ask before, there's a lot of downs to Camp Launch that we can just talk about for hours and hours and hours. But what's some positives that came out of Camp Launch?
I think the connections I made, I still text my campers. Like, I still keep in contact with them. One of them called me the other day, and we just had a 10-minute conversation about whatever. Like, honestly, like, I joined Camp Launch because I believe in what they were doing, and that's something I want to do in the future. Like, I want to work with people. And these students were absolutely incredible, and, like, I think that, like, if we could push them in the right direction and show them that they could do incredible things, then hell yeah, I'm going to do it. So, I really did love that.
Positives. I would say for me, Camp Launch, it was very hard because it was like one of the very first. It was the first like camp with kids I've ever done. Even as a kid, I didn't do a camp like as a camper. So this was like the first ever camp. It was 2 weeks long, stay away. So it was kind of tough for me as a counselor. But I would say like positively, it probably taught me I don't like camp as much as I thought I did. But it taught me a lot, like to handle like stress and kind of like handling people. Because at the end of the day, I did enjoy a lot of the kids. Like, the kids were lovely. They taught me so much through all their strife and like trauma. They taught me like even though life is difficult, like you still make it through it. And I know I'm an example of that, but they're like even littler examples of that, which is quite sad. But just talking to them, through the experiences. Even I would say specifically, even one kid. I'm not gonna name him, of course, but we started off camp horribly. Like he was, and it wasn't really on us. I would say we're all pretty good counselors at the end of the day.
Yeah, it was just the fact that he just didn't really want to be there because you gotta think too. Me and Ben, we had the 8th grade group, so we're dealing with 13-year-olds who, at that point, they're kind of like figuring out who they are as a person and like what they like, what they're interested in and stuff like that. And we just had this one camper who he had this, I'm an athlete mindset and I don't really want to be here. I feel like I don't need this. And I wouldn't say, I feel like at first he came in and he was just on calm. But I guess once he realized that, one, you couldn't have phones or anything like that, no electronics, because, we're big. Like, in this generation these days, we're really big on being on our phones or being on some type of technology that we have. So, yeah, he was just, I don't care about nothing. I don't want to be here. And it was little altercations that happened. Nothing like physical or anything, but, just like words being exchanged between him and Ben, and if Ben want to elaborate more on that, he can.
Yeah, it was basically just around. It's actually quite trivial when you think about it now, but it was just the shower, right? Yeah. And the kids, like they're 8th grade kids, 13-year-olds, but like, I assume like you want your shower to be clean, right?
Yeah.
When we walked in there, like the second day, what? Underwear, trash, shirts, pants, socks, hats, everywhere, just about 30, 40 of them in the corner, stinking up the place. And I was like, yo, we gotta do something.
You gotta think too, they've been outside all day, they sweating, and then they taking a shower, and then the shower too, sometimes the water be splashing in the walk area, so now it's just a whole bunch of water, so now you got wet clothes plus water, and it's just soaking up all the sweat from the clothes, and then we just leave it there overnight, it's gonna start to smell.
And there's only 9 showers per floor, and the floor had what, 100, probably like 80 kids, 80, 70 kids to start off with at the very beginning of the camp. And also the counselors had to share them as well, which is a whole nother issue.
But then we ended up finding out that we had our own bathroom that the kids weren't supposed to be using, but by that time it was already using, so.
Yeah. I'm sorry, that's a liability. That's not. No tomfoolery happened around there, but basically for the shower that was dirty, like, it was whack. Like, it shouldn't have stayed like that. So we banned a bunch of stuff like no basement. You can't talk to your friends down there. You got to clean it up. You can try again tomorrow, but it's gotta be clean. Go in there, get your stuff. And basically, this kid, he didn't want to hear it at all. When I came in to make an announcement, saying, "Hey, go to your rooms, the end of the night, check the bathroom before you go because it's still a bit dirty." And he just he got up, walked away. And then, it was a massive sign of disrespect. I wasn't going to address it at first, but then Adriek, you got up and...
Nah, because, so from what I was finding out was, so like Ben said, there's a lot of clothes everywhere, and Ben had, he had a way where he wanted the clothes, a specific way where he wanted the clothes to be picked up by everybody. And they took it amongst themselves to actually go do it, which is, nothing wrong with that, but at the same time, it's like you touching other kids' things, and then as a counselor and as somebody who's, I won't say authoritative figure, but we're in charge of them. So when we ask you to do something, we want it to be done how we want it to be done.
I also try to avoid bullying through the way I wanted it too.
Yeah. And then too, he didn't believe in if one person does something, the whole group get punished. He wasn't believing in that. But like I say, once he got up and started walking away while Ben was talking to him, see, I grew up in a family where we don't tolerate no disrespect. You can't just walk away when somebody's talking to you. You're going to sit there and listen. You just got to take it. Because we're not trying to do nothing to hurt your feelings or anything like that. We're just trying to help you and get you to understand where we coming from. But he wasn't really going for it. He started to walk away. Then when I was talking to him, he won't try to listen to me neither. Then he walked away. And then I'm like, how do you want respect to be shown to you when you're not even respecting us? So then he was just like, well, I'm just not going to respect you. But then things turned around later on in the camp though.
It was crazy. No, crazy. It was, I would say it was, he was saying, wow, why are you mad at me? Why are you mad at me? I wasn't screaming at him or nothing because it wasn't that big of a deal to me. But basically at the end of the night, he went to his room or went to mine. It was whatever. It's a 13-year-old,
yeah.
Let's be real here. But the next day at breakfast, he walks up to me very civilized, chill. It's yo, man, I'm sorry. Like yesterday, I was really like going crazy, but like honestly, like I didn't mean to do all that. I apologize. If we can start off on a better foot. And I was like, whoa, like grown men wouldn't be doing this. My dad wouldn't do that to another guy. Like that's like he was real mature for that. And ever since then, like we talked every day, talked about like his personal life, some troubles he had. I just talked him through it. Like he ended up being a really cool guy, really cool camper, one of my favorite campers. He wasn't in my group. He was in your group. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
he liked Ben more. He liked me for real.
Yeah, by the end of the camp. So I would say just experiences like that really warmed me up to kids, even though like sometimes they were wild, of course, but like it really made me happy.
So in that sense, I mean, I heard like sort of problems with disrespect with the kids, right? But what about the camp in general? Were there things that you, like structure-wise, that you might have fixed or like they should fix next time around?
So that was a lot of, there was a lot to kind of dive into there. I think the way they structured it when it dealt with counselors, first of all, was not the best. I think that having more than a day training, I think it was a good 3 hours. We sat in like a room and we talked through different situations. We talked about the structure of the camp. But I've done trainings for like even just a week-long camp, and I've done it for 3 or 4 days, right? So it's kind of being about like you're dealing with students here that you do not know what they're going through, like you do not know what you're walking into, and so your counselors need to be prepared, like period. Like you're dealing with someone else's kids, and that's the most appropriate response. So for me, the first thing is like to have more training, and we kind of recognized that because we weren't prepared for situations we should have been prepared for. So.
Yeah, for sure. So what 3-hour training for a 2-week camp?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, for Plus, which is another program I did, great program with Shanae.
My thing is, would y'all really consider that training? That was just us coming
there,
and we just chilling, like we just sitting in the room, where they going over like our Bible that they was going over,
the handbook.
And what else were they doing in there? And then we did different scenarios, but at the end of the day, it's like they were just like some random scenarios that you may see, but at the same time, those aren't the main issues that we seen during the camp.
We did skits.
And like that's great. That's like great for bonding, but it's not great for what we needed to
That's
do.
what I'm saying. Like all it did was just really helped you get to know the person you was working with.
But we already did that.
Yeah.
We didn't need that.
For a 2-week camp, I don't think that was really that needed because you're really gonna get close with each other regardless.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like to me, though.
Yeah.
So the training, I guess it wasn't a training if you put it that way. But that was a 3-hour training for a 2-week camp. I had a 3-day training for a 1-week camp with kids that were grown. Like they were 18, 19 already. They're freshmen coming to college. Mm-hmm. So I guess that was the first red flag.
Yeah, and I didn't realize it at the time because I was like, okay, like they have their shit together, this is normal. And then like you realize really fast that that's not the case.
Yeah.
When you're like actively in it, you realize.
I kind of thought about it as soon as we got there, and the scheduling of it, we didn't really know what was going on, especially like during lunch. Anybody know when it was time to go to lunch for and, like people just left. Luckily, I checked the email that she sent like what was like 2 weeks before, a couple days before. After I'm getting email after email after email, I go back to that, and now I'm saying, okay, we got lunch at this time.
Yeah.
I remember that too. Because we ended up just going to lunch randomly.
Yeah.
And then we was like, oh, now it's time for our training.
Just show up, do a skit, and then leave.
Actually, I remember that. I remember getting there and being like, when is lunch? And they were like, I have no idea. And we were just laughing. We were like, oh, it's how the rest of the 2 weeks are going to be.
You, like, very routinely throughout the whole camp, even you asked admin, like, not maybe the top, but, like, just, like, people above. Like, there's counselors, head counselors, and the administration, which are also just, like, regular people that they hired for the camp. And you ask them, like, oh, when's lunch? Or how to do this? Or how do I submit this report? And they regularly said, like, I don't know what time it is. Ask somebody else. And it's like, there was no, even though they showed us the hierarchy during the training, the hierarchy was basically false because they never gave you the information you needed. Search and claw for it yourself every time. And especially, like, as well for the camp, we were told, like, for all our interviews, right, that we were going to have, like, 6 to 7 kids. You know, normal size for a camp. My first time, I'm like, okay, I could do that.
Man, 6 to 7 kids.
that was not the case.
Yeah, you show up the first day. I was like, you got 13 kids on your list. You're like, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the reasoning behind that, though? Do they have less counselors than they initially
Yeah.
expected?
Short staff.
Lack of preparation.
Yeah.
And lack of hiring.
They said throughout the camp, like, oh, like, we were missing like 3 to 4 counselors for the campers. There wasn't enough interest. There wasn't enough help.
You gotta think too.
Yeah.
We coming off. They just came off a virtual year the year before, and now they thinking big to bring all these kids here.
Yeah.
And then you gotta think people still worried about COVID because COVID's still going on around the world. So maybe not everybody really want to do that because they maybe thinking about their health, or they just really just don't want to be around kids, something like that. That's a lot of things you gotta put in consideration. So I feel like opening up a camp where you aiming high for all these kids, knowing that you may not get a lot of staff to come with you or to be on board with what you got going on, then it's some things you got to go back and change.
It was irresponsible to begin with, like very,
Yeah.
because the camp, it was like 202, 220 kids in total around there, at least in total. And the COVID policy was like nil to none. It was very like rudimentary.
Yeah.
The counselors weren't really briefed on it either that deeply during training. So obviously COVID went crazy. Like, okay, so this is also a big issue for a camp in Virginia because of young kid author government mandates. You can't allow. There's no mandatory COVID testing, and you can't mandate masks. Right. So like their hands were tied in that fashion, but due to there being no like fast in our COVID policy, and as well they didn't have enough COVID tests to begin with. They had 15, 30 to begin with. COVID spread like wildfire, and we know who had COVID. So throughout the whole camp, it was kind of just pandemonium.
To be honest.
It was absolute chaos. It was like honestly like there was nothing, and so like we talked again, like we said, we like went through skits, but we had no briefing on COVID policy. So it's like their priorities weren't straight, and we didn't know what was going on. And we had this conversation, like counselors, a bunch of times, like why would you do a camp if you weren't prepared, you didn't have the right staff, like why would you go through with it? And we understand like the mission, and like I believe in that, but at the same time, like at what cost? And it was a pretty big cost. Yeah.
So now hearing all this, though, I'm wondering, would you guys do it next year, or actually this coming summer, if they change a few things, or maybe you guys can now implement what you learned and change a few things yourself?
That's a really good question. I didn't even get to ask you this.
I know. I think I would. I honestly think that like if they did what they said they were going to do and change, like I would come back. But I don't know if they're capable of doing that. So like I don't want to put my trust in something that like I don't want to be stuck in that situation again, because like I don't think it's fair to me. I don't think it's fair to anyone I'm working with. But I also see myself easily doing it if offered. So I'm still in limbo. I have around 5 months to decide, so we're gonna take that time.
I know I'm trying to find an internship in like during the summer at DC for government related things. So that's never on the table for me. But I guess hypothetically, I don't think I can, because the camp, like last year, genuinely, so many other things happened that was like morally and ethically wrong. Like I couldn't stand for it, so I couldn't imagine being in that environment again. Like Adriek and Matea, like, y'all saw me. Like I was like, there's so many legal liabilities outside of what we just talked about now for me to participate in the camp. Like if I feel like weird about putting the camp on my resume, that's a big sign, because college kids, we always want to put something on our resume. Like in this case, I'm like, yo, like this, it's against what I stand for. So by me participating in it again, even if I just say, oh, it's for the money, that's not me. So I don't know if I could do it. I mean, I don't just anybody else that does it, because like those kids need like for love and kind of that attention.
But at the same time, like again, like what they did was legally and ethically immoral. Like I don't know how many times like I have to think about it. Like when I was explaining it to people, like my family, they were like, "That really actually happened. Like you're not joking." Like yes, and like the fact that it was a life-changing experience for me because of what we had to do and like the advocacy that I never thought I would have to do for myself. But like, that never should have had to happen in the first place. Me personally, I'm a pre-med student, so I don't think I can come back like because of time. But like if I could, I would, because I think that it could be better. But the present administration would have to work something out.
I believe. I know the School of Ed. They still are starting people to hire. So I don't think for next year it's still going to be understaffed. Not much, unless they get a bunch of freshmen on. I don't see that's going to change. But like, it's okay if I list off like a lot of like the weird stuff because I got like a list.
Like, are we? Yeah, like I don't.
Remember we made a.
We did make a list. Yeah, well, yeah.
You want to explain kind of like
what?
I guess
the
I'll go
progression.
you explain the proposal.
Yeah. So it was around midweek of the first week, and a lot of us were just tired, drained. There was not a lot of resources, not a lot of help, and not a lot of direction, and we were on our own, and we were kind of done. So we wanted to propose to the administration that we kind of get a pay raise or get some more direction, or else we would have to leave because it was mentally and physically not safe for the counselors and the students involved. So we had a meeting and we discussed and we made a proposal and presented it to the administration. So that was really the whole steps of it all. Yeah.
And the proposal, it was so geared towards making the camp better.
Yes.
Like what? Like providing snacks for the kids when they're in the dorm because they didn't have snacks for some reason. Providing them water because they didn't have water for some reason. And just making, what, you gonna say something? Sorry.
I was gonna say, okay. They they didn't have snacks that actually like provided for them, no water. Some kids actually did bring snacks, but if you think about like how a camp's supposed to be ran or anything like that, I feel like snacks are supposed to be provided. But
Yeah, like it was about like a bunch of things that were like there that shouldn't have been there. Like just COVID policies. Like update us on what is going on.
Yeah, COVID policies. Like we had free time for like 2-3 hours every day. We didn't have balls, like even to play with to start off with.
Yes.
There wasn't any. The big thing was that there was no direct line of communication with like the actual like administrators of the program. So if we had questions for them, well, only like maybe one person could contact them. But they're always around campus doing something for the camp, like getting materials that we didn't have, because the admin didn't get them. So kind of like stuff like that. And then also including was like, of course, a pay raise, because we were all like asked to do things out of our pay grade.
Again, personally for me, like it was not about the money, like that's not what I was focusing on. But at the same time, like there were a lot of counselors who were giving stuff of theirs to their students because the camp didn't provide them. And like in that situation, like I'm fortunate enough that like I can like help with that, but some people couldn't, and they were doing it anyway. So it just wasn't it wasn't right. And so I think what we asked for was fair. Like I'm not someone who like wants to be like combative in that way, but like it wasn't being combative. It was like fighting for like what we deserved.
It was a union. Like
it was a union.
You do stuff out of your job description.
Yeah.
They stress you immensely. Like you fully have the right, like in this country especially.
Yeah.
To like unionize and like fight for what you believe is right.
Mm-hmm. And the way we did it, everyone had a voice. We all just like asked what we wanted, and like it was respected. So yeah.
But what? Should I go through that?
Yeah. Go. And we'll talk about each one.
We can do it real quick too. I don't really know what y'all.
Go for it.
I remember I made this like the second to first day.
Yes.
Second day. I was just like stuff I've been seeing. I was like. I was second to last. Okay. I was just like, because I was, this is weird. Like I don't think this is normal. I'm gonna just jot it down. Yeah. And it became the grievances of camp launch.
Second to first day is the third day though, not the second day. Now that I'm thinking about it. Second to first day. So you're taking from the first day, the second day to the first day is the third day, isn't it?
Second to the first day. That should be the second day though.
I think it's the second day. This is like second to last day.
You just.
Well, second to last day, then last day is
the last day.
So second
to first day and then
the day
first day.
before first day.
Oh, that's crazy.
I think it's the day before the first day. Second to the first day.
No.
Wait, but that makes no sense.
Second to the first.
First to first day though.
It should be one and then two, so second to the first. So it's one.
Let's say the second day, Ben. Jeez.
We got the list. All right. First of all, okay, just real quick.
Yeah.
Counselors not being aware of medical needs / drugs need for students.
Yep.
Some of the kids need drugs. They finally, like the third, fourth day, they're like, oh, I'm actually getting my drugs. I haven't been getting them. Oh, I didn't know that. Like, that sounds for real, yeah.
Or we didn't know medical information about the students before they came.
Overworked, overstressed counselors, we talked about that. Oh, crazy thing. Not everyone filled out I-9 forms / employment verification or background checks. Working with kids, right?
Yeah.
That's also a big liability.
Yeah, legally, you gotta fill out at least your employment form.
What they gave us was like before like you actually did the interview, it was like this site that you had to fill out, and they asked you what have you I forgot what it was. It was like something like, what have you done that involved kids or something like that? It was something like that. But like you said, the I-9 form, I didn't get that till I was already working there. I probably already done worked a week.
Yeah. I know plenty of straight people that didn't.
So I was working for free.
Yeah, for like 3-4 days. And I know the person what, from what's the education school that emailed us about, trying to get it all sorted out. Great woman. Like, she really worked really hard to get it to us. I don't think it's on her, but like at the end of the day, like you need that. You can't legally work, especially on a public university. Like
Without your I-9.
Yeah.
what are you doing? Nurses didn't have all medical forms needed for the first few days, so like they were just like writing stuff on like paper. They were taking notes because they didn't know everything.
Yeah.
Also, they didn't have, of course, all the COVID tests they needed. They had like what, 15, 30?
No.
There was no administration on the ground helping us with anything. Not all accommodations being met with students with disabilities.
Yep.
Nor were counselors being informed of students with disabilities, because I know I did. I wasn't informed, and that put like a lot of stress on me and my group. Thank you. Adriek also helped me a lot with that. Thanks so much for Adriek. But
I ain't gonna lie, it stressed me out just watching Ben being stressed out. Like, you knew Ben wasn't in a good mood, especially by the way he started walking. And because Ben kept the flip-flops on, so when Ben got the flip-flops on, he chilling for the most part. But when I seen Ben, especially when we had, like, I guess it was the meeting with the nurses, Ben was walking with a purpose that whole day. Like, it was quick with it. It wasn't no chill, relaxed walk. Ben walking like this.
you heard
Ben,
that
you were
flip-flop.
stressed on the first day. You were you got like hit with shit on the first day.
Yeah, on the first day, I don't want to say I suffered a lot on the first. Everyone suffered.
No,
but like
no.
that really
That
hit me
first day was
different.
crazy.
No, that was different.
That hit me different. And that kid, I love that kid so much. I still want to stay in contact with him.
time she was
But
Shout out to him.
oh, he's a shout out to him. Yeah, shout out to him. I love him.
Yeah.
Love him, bro. But yeah, it was just crazy. It was crazy. He didn't get accommodated until like what, the second, third day. On this hilly, long. Yeah, if you come to William Mary, you're gonna know this campus. It's not big, but it's really hard to walk around if you have a disability.
Yeah.
So that was crazy. Only 3 hours of staff orientation. No testing for COVID
Yep.
on a wide scale. Well, they were forced to eventually, which is a whole thing on its own. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Missing potential counselors, critical typos in the handbook, like for the Washington trip you're supposed to have during the first week. We didn't have all the information for that. It wasn't all set yet, which was quite odd for a camp of 200 plus people, not knowing how to trip to DC.
Crazy.
Yeah. Nurses didn't have all the supplies they needed. I don't know the specifics of this, but I put Band-Aids.
Yeah, I think that actually happened. I think the nurses, shout out to the nurses for everything they went through. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, like, yeah, but they didn't have what they needed.
Yeah.
If it was Band-Aids, I don't know for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. And last thing on the list was nurses. Remember that one time I had a meeting with them? They said the nurses didn't disclose the COVID positives to them.
Oh, like the administration didn't know of the COVID
Yeah.
positives? Oh.
Because they try to blame us for not telling them that there was COVID positives, but that's not our job.
That's not,
Because
yeah.
we're not medical.
We're not gonna- and I'm-
They wanted us to sugarcoat, not telling the kids that COVID's still going on.
Yeah, also that too. Even though the kids they're not dumb. They lived
Yeah.
through the pandemic. They could tell that 15 kids went home. Everyone was wearing masks now because there's COVID around.
I mean, I keep saying, just wear masks because of protocol. Like, I keep telling them that. And then eventually, like, it was like, I think it was towards like the end of the camp, they was like, you start going ahead and tell people that COVID's still going on.
What was the point of that?
And the students with like maybe family members who are immunocompromised, like they deserve to know. So
Yeah.
that, yeah.
A lot of those kids probably went home with COVID that they got from the camp. And they may have not known.
I had parents contacting me about their kids, and that's not even my job. I'm not supposed to answer no questions regarding like a child, even though I am a counselor. But as far as like COVID, how many kids got COVID, who got COVID, do they need to come? Like, I'm not in charge of that.
That was somebody else's job. But because of there's only 3 phones for them to call back home the first few days. So we had to give our phones to the kids.
Yeah.
Which also was kind of dirty, to be real. If you're giving like 12 kids your phone, hook up to your ear, them touching it. But we did it anyways, because like you need to talk to your folks if like something's going wrong or like how you're feeling and stuff. So we did for them. And those parents then from that got our phone numbers. So then they start texting people, they start calling people, they start berating people. But that wasn't our job description.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. But like, what were you supposed to do? Say no when they don't talk to their parents that night? Like, that was just a situation that was
And then
happening.
parents calling people who were in charge of us, saying, "Oh, we ain't talked to our child in such and such days." Now they coming on us talking about why this kid ain't talking to their parents. So now it's like, well, we was told we was getting about 10 phones, but we only got 3 that's working. So now that's when we started. All right, here you can use our phone now.
Yeah. So that was a mess on something.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole scheduling. The scheduling was a mess. Like, we had to get through to one part of the campus to the opposite side in like 20 minutes. It was just like unrealistic.
Not even that. I remember the first day I realized when we were eating breakfast. I was looking at the schedule. I was like, so breakfast ends at like what? Like 9 o'clock. But then the next class starts at 9 o'clock. And I was like, in college, class ends at like what? Like 10:50.
Yeah, we
Next
got like
class
a 10
starts
minute
at
window.
Yeah, and it's like a small campus, so you can make it from like, let's say like Chancellor to like Boswell in 10 minutes. But this is like back to back, and the class will start at that time.
Yeah, I think we here at Salem got to go all the way to the B school for a class.
Yeah.
Plus, we got different kids who got to go
was
to
it.
different locations in the B school. So it's not like everybody's going to one location.
Yes.
We got to go in there. Now we got to figure out, okay, this child got to go here. This child got to go there.
This room. And then like half the kids, even some of them when you go to like Boswell or another place.
Or
so,
swim.
So 6 of them gotta go here, 3 of them gotta go to swim, 4 of them gotta go here, and you got 0 minutes to do it
Yeah.
according by the schedule.
And you're moving with a group of 10, so you have to make sure everyone's accounted for the whole time. You're going to different groups, like, you're gonna be slower. Like, it's just that. We were not given the time we needed.
I would say I signed up for like, of course I'm gonna walk the kids to their places, but it just didn't make any sense.
Yes.
And there was no advising for it either.
Especially during like the first day when they actually had classes. Now, we end up adjusting to it and making like accommodations for it. But when you got like 13 kids who either got to go to swim for one class, got to go to the B school for another class, or got to go to Boswell, and you got 10 minutes to take all these kids to different classes, and you got to walk inside because some teachers is like, you got to actually drop your kid off in the classroom and not just say, go ahead and walk in there. So now you got this kid, then you got to take these kids to that location. By that time, it's probably already 9 o'clock. So now you got some kids that's late to class. Like, I had a kid, it was like the first day. It was during their enrichment time. So this was after dinner. He was 30 minutes late to class because I had to go to the wellness center, then I had to go to the rec center. Now I got to go all the way back to the B school. So I'm dropping these kids off to these locations first because they're closer. Then I'm going to the B school. But he was 30 minutes late. It's only a 50-minute class.
And we came up with a system, but again, like, we had to come up with a system second or third day. And so we would have meetings until like 12 a.m. figuring things out. So we wake up at like 6, 7, go until 12, 1. And like the thing is, like, that could have been prevented. It just didn't seem like there was like a lot of knowledge about like our surroundings or like what was happening. Like, the administration didn't really know as much like the walking time or the scheduling in general. So like, we had to spend extra hours figuring that out, and that was just a lot.
Yeah. And I also want to like shout out and give love to, of course, like the teachers, the TAs,
Yes.
teachers assistants that like
I
got,
love them.
because like we were bringing kids 30 minutes late to class, and they understood that the camp was a lot of stress on us, a lot of stress on the kids, and they still like showed us love. They gave us brownies, cookies, like they really gave us what we needed to like make it through the week. And of course they did their jobs to the best of their abilities, because the camp, if they didn't tell us stuff, they didn't tell the teachers nothing. So much love to like everybody, forensic science, all the STEM writing teachers,
statistics, all like, we had a lot. We had a community like that was there to help us. They knew like what was happening. They're like, that's unacceptable. Like, what can we do to help? And that was really nice to hear. That we're being recognized in some way. It wasn't just us like going crazy. Yeah.
And teachers felt bad because we sleeping in the lounge at the B school. As soon as we drop the kids off, they already know we going to go to sleep. If we not sleeping, it's like we up from like 7 a.m. in the morning, and we pretty much not done till about like 12 o'clock at night, like she said. Because we, after the day over and we put the kids to sleep, now it's time to go have our meeting to talk about but some things that need to be fixed during the camp. So now we tired, and so we got to use what we can do to get some extra sleep in.
Exactly. So I was walking to B school in 90-degree weather. I was like, oh, that's not gonna be great, man. Because every day it was like, walk your kids, get to the B school, talk to Adriek, Kevin for like, 20, 30 minutes. Maybe Matea comes, sleep for the next 2 hours. Switch your kids' classes, go back to the B school, sleep for 2 hours. So.
Then they wanted us to actually, like, after each class was over, to go get the kids and drop them off at all their classes. But then, after a while, we just said, you know what? They know where to go at now, so we just going to stay asleep.
And they did. So.
Well, I guess that's a perfect point to wrap up this episode. And I want to add in a little point here, too, because initially what drew me to even apply to a position at the camp was being gifted students, and I assume you all probably were considered gifted students back in middle school. Did you guys go through the gifted program?
My teacher was one of the gifted resource teachers, but I don't think I was identified as gifted.
Well, because that's one thing, though, because like being identified as gifted, it wasn't all that anyway. Like you just took a test and then they were like, oh, okay, you're considered gifted. But moving forward after that, I think just past 7th grade is when they completely stopped. There was nothing else. Like they used to have curriculum programs that you'd go through, but then they just stopped. So that's why I applied to camp. I was like, okay, maybe I could teach these kids a little something. Maybe I could learn a little something from them. Continue their like sort of gifted education thing, right? But then I mean, now hearing your stories, it's like unstructured, problems with the kids sometimes, disrespect, timing issues, scheduling. I mean, if Camp Launch really fixes these problems here that we stated, I mean, overall, I think next semester or next summer or however long this program continues could definitely, the kids could see a big benefit, and also staffing issues wouldn't be much of a problem. So,
hopefully.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Hopefully. I would say at the end of the day, though, just like to wrap up like on my end, even though the camp was very difficult for me, first time.
Yeah.
But like I definitely did learn a lot. If I had the opportunity to do like a camp like this again in the future, like unproblematized, everyone's like good structure, very ethical, I would definitely do it. But just for this camp, like on the kids side, I would say those that stayed, because a lot of kids did leave during the camp either for COVID reasons or just like they weren't having fun. Those that did stay, they did maybe not learn a lot from the classes, but they had fun with each other.
Yes.
Like they learned off of each other.
Yeah.
Definitely like missing those 3 years off from COVID and come back to the camp. Getting to talk to people from like 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
Kids are having fun. They're having the best time of their
Yes.
lives. Getting so much attention from us and also each other. So all that love, coming in the lounges, seeing everyone talk, love, It was something you don't see much.
No.
Like in the real world, yeah.
Like on the last day, like they were all singing on the stairwell. They were like, they didn't want to leave. They were crying. They didn't want to leave each other. Like that community, like that they maybe don't get at home. That is like, that has no cost. Like honestly, like that is something that like I would advocate for, and like I would want for them. I just would want a more structured environment to go with it.
Yeah,
so,
please.
Yeah,
Please.
That would be the reason I would actually come back.
Yeah.
Just because of the impact you have on these kids. Like they looking up to you, they enjoying your time and like the attention that they seeking from you. And then just the bond, the laughs that y'all all share. That's the beauty of like being at a summer camp for real.
It's beautiful. Like, cause as a kid, even like I never had like a black role model that was like in college I could look up to. And then thinking about like back on this, they had me, you, everyone else to like look up to and be like, oh, like I can make it to William & Mary and not have to pay like $40K, or I can make it here and like make a lot, like a crap ton of money when I'm older. Like that opportunity and kind of that role model that you can always text, call, or just even think about and just inspire you when you're staying at night for a test. Like that's, you can't put a price tag on that for real.
Can't.
Yeah.
But like Sham said, I feel like that's a perfect segue just to wrap up this episode. But before we actually wrap up the episode, I'm gonna ask both of y'all this question. They know about it. What we do is when we end off an episode, we always ask our guests to leave the viewers with something. So based off everything we done talked about throughout the whole podcast, throughout this whole episode, what is one thing that you would want to leave for the viewers?
You want to go?
Oh, I'm still thinking.
Oh, okay. I said that a lot probably, but just like give yourself love. Give yourself love, give yourself time, give yourself the world, because at the end of the day, So I'm a sociology major, so like when I see capitalism, when I see greed, when I see this, when I see that, when I see the grind, I'm like, at the end of the day, like, not to be too morbid, but you're gonna die with just yourself. So if you die with just yourself, make yourself the best you can be. Like, if you like, don't be stressed out by other people or like what he's doing or she's doing. Like, just think to yourself, am I having fun? Am I doing this for the right reasons? Like, really think to yourself at the end of the day. So I feel like that's helped me a lot in my life. So
I think for me, I've recently been trying to like live by this, like, happiness has no price. I live my life like saying I'll be happy if I do this, like I'll be happy if I like just get these things done, and like, you know, you stop living for a while. And I think like with people at William & Mary, they get so involved, they're like, you know, active leaders in their community, and there's often a price tag to what their happiness is and what they can do. And you know, you don't want to live that way. So like when you're living through William & Mary, or just in the global community, or being an active leader, a leader of excellence, if you may, then, you know, be like, you know, take that time to do what you love, and do not try to put a price on it, because there is no price.
Wonderfully said. Wonderfully said.
But yeah, man, I feel like that would do it for today's episode. Like we always say, we appreciate y'all for coming on the episode, just chatting it up with us, just having a good time, bonding with us, chilling with us. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. We love y'all, because without y'all, without y'all support, pretty much none of this would be possible. So we thank y'all too as well. I'm Adriek, this is Shem, this is the F.L.O.E Podcast, and we're going to see you on the next episode, man. Y'all know the vibes, man. We out.